Thank you, Mark, for the great introduction. Let me just start out by saying I had the privilege of meeting Charlie Sanders back in the 70s, late 70s. We worked a football camp together, which is true to the things that he did the rest all of his life was working with kids. But he invited me down to work a football camp with him at Eastern Michigan, and I think it was the late 70s, and I've known Charlie knew him ever since, and had the privilege of working with him, of course, when I went to work for the Lions. But again, what a great individual. First of all, let me start out by thanking the Gridiron greats for this honor. I'm humbled and grateful and honored to be a member of this exclusive club. I think anytime you're selected into the Hall of Fame, it's the greatest tribute you can receive. And I know a lot of people out here have been selected to different types of Hall of Fame. So when I was told of this last year, I was very honored and proud to be here tonight. Football, of course, is the ultimate team sport, and you don't accomplish anything in football unless you're part of a great team. And I've been very fortunate and very blessed to be a part of some great teams and meet some great individuals and have some great mentors. So anytime I receive any award, first thing I do is thank the thousands of people who have helped me get to this point where I'm standing up here receiving this award. So I did not do this on my own because it was a lot of people that helped me along the way. So I had a lot of great teammates, a lot of great coaches. My number one supporter, my number one teammate, I want to introduce first right now, my wife for 50 years. We celebrated our 50th anniversary in April, went to Paris. Could you stand up, Tone? Stand up, please. 50 years, met her at Michigan State, been there ever since. Speaking of Michigan State, I thought homecoming was next weekend. I think it might be tonight. Oh, there's a lot of Spartans here tonight. Yeah. I've been really blessed, and we've got a lot of awards up here tonight, a lot of people coming up, but I don't want to take too long, but I've been blessed throughout my life, and it seemed like as I look back through my life, everything was kind of connected with the dots, and I just had to kind of follow the dots. My career started in Michigan State. No, I'm sorry. Actually, I started at DuPont Manual High School in Louisville, Kentucky. And unlike a lot of the kids that were coming from the South to play for Michigan State in the 60s, I was one of the first. But unlike some of the other guys, my school integrated my freshman year in high school. So Kentucky was a little ahead of some of the other states. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of probably the greatest high school football team ever to play in the state of Kentucky. And about 6 guys went to major schools, SEC schools, Big Ten schools. And one of my coaches, fortunately, was a friend of Biggie Munns. He had met Biggie in Minnesota. And he called Biggie and recommended that they take a look at me. And that took a lot because I was a 150-pound running back, and wasn't many people looking at those guys at that time. But Michigan State, fortunately for me, had some success with what they called a pony backfield in the 50s. So they had some success, so they weren't really scared of taking a chance on a little guy. So fortunately, they gave me a chance and gave me a scholarship, and I played with some great players and played on some great teams. And we never made it to the Rose Bowl, but I made some of the friends, lifelong friends, and I'm grateful to Michigan State to this day because that dot was connected to my job, to later on getting a job at Michigan State, and that's where my coaching career started. And if I hadn't gone to State, of course, I probably never would have coached there. And then by coaching at Michigan State, I stayed there 14 years. And I probably would have stayed there the rest of my life if they hadn't kicked me out of the nest after a while. But when they finally finished my career after 14 years, I interviewed at San Francisco with the 49ers, which was unusual, and I was very, very fortunate because very seldom do you leave college football and join a staff in pro football that is just coming off a Super Bowl. And they had won the Super Bowl at the Silverdome there in '81. I went there in '83. And the reason I got the job was another Michigan State connection, one of the main reasons. John McVay was the general manager at San Francisco, and John was assistant coach at State when I was there. And I think he's the guy who influenced Bill Walsh more than anybody to give me a job as a running back coach, because I had coached defensive backs at Michigan State, never coached offense in my life, although I had played it. So anyway, my connection with Michigan State got me into pro football, and working under Bill Walsh and George Seifert, we had unbelievable success. But like I said, you don't succeed unless you got great players around you, and we had some of the best, as you know, with Montana, Joe Montana, Roger Craig, and Ronnie Lott, and we just goes on and on. We had some of the greatest teams. So I was fortunate to get 3 Super Bowls out there, and then went to Green Bay with Mike Holmgren, and he made me his offensive coordinator. And sure enough, we fall into Brett Favre as our quarterback. So sometimes timing is very important in life. You know, I was at the right place at the right time. We went to 2 Super Bowls in Green Bay, and had a lot of success there. So finally, after 23 years in the NFL and 38 total, counting high school, and 1 year in 13 in college and 1 year in high school, I finally decided to retire. So it was a great ride. Like I said, I had a lot of support, and I thank everybody, and I'm very proud to be here tonight. And I want to thank the Gridiron Greats for this honor, and I'd like to acknowledge the assistant fundraiser group that they have for the Gridiron Greats, where they raise money for retired players who fell upon hard times due to medical costs or just utility bills, and they raise this money. Shannon talked about it earlier. It's a fantastic foundation and a fund, and I'd just like to thank them for everything they do. Thank you very much. God bless you.